present to our retirees this year and our retirees from last year. And we're going to recognize those people first. There's finger foods. Feel free to do drinks. They're already covered. If you would like something other than soda, iced tea, etc., ask one of the waitresses, and they'll give you a bill, etc. All right? So, Mr. Smith's going to play a little tune. Feel free to chat. And as soon as they get going, we'll stop and we'll do the county presentation first, and then we'll kind of relax. Thank you.
All right, here we go. All right. Usually people have to pay to hear this, but you guys get tortured for free. All right, here we go.
So we can have Mr. Broadway, Mr. Golden, Mr. Wadowski, and obviously the most beautiful out of all four, Miss Boswell.
Well, first of all, I just want to thank you for inviting me to share this celebration of individuals that are retiring from a distinguished career in supporting students. And I know at Hillside High School, it's a continuation school that's got a long history. In fact, I believe it's been recognized at least on 2 occasions as a model school. And that was just phenomenal. Now that is phenomenal because I know the kinds of students that alternative ed programs have. In the county, we serve a number of students in alternative ed. And what I found with students, especially those that go into quality programs like the program at Hillside, is they interact with teachers that are committed to their success, really passionate intrinsically to turn the life around of a student that's had some challenge and comes into an alternative setting. And so the work that you do, we just truly appreciate it on behalf of the county schools because we know you make that kind of an impact. So thank you for doing that. I know that Hillside Hawks, and when you look at the first one, when you put together the words that describe your focus, that first one is high school diploma. And I know that for kids that are really going down a level where there's no light at the end, and they come into a program, they build that TLC with the teachers and the support staff, and then they completely do that 180 to get back on track. They get that high school diploma, and all of a sudden they see there's opportunities there. What I always tell young people is that, when you get into anything, whether it's custodial, whether it's fast food, with anything, give 150% because people notice the work ethic, and pretty soon doors will open, opportunities will be there. But that's really because of the encouragement that you as educators and teachers give our young people out there, especially those in the programs that we serve. So just really looking forward to what Hillside will continue to accomplish. But at this point, I want to recognize the contribution and support for the retirees. And so thank you for your service to students. Congratulations on your retirement. So we have certificates of excellence and also one of our challenge coins. And I'll read the first one so you know what it says. But in county schools, we've had a guiding document that we've given all of our 33 school districts. In San Bernardino County, 33 school districts, 400,000 students, about 18,000 teachers in San Bernardino County. And the guiding document that the districts have adopted is our Cradle to Career Roadmap. It really hits those key indicators for success, 0 to 5, K-12, post-secondary, from an academic perspective, but also social-emotional. And I think that's where alternative programs really shine, because the academics aren't there unless the students have what they need in terms of support, encouragement, all those key areas to build a confidence to be successful in academics. And so that's what we strive for. And when we look at graduation rates, that's been a big priority. Upland's been a model in our county for increasing graduation rates. But it's not just about graduating, it's about, and this is what I love about alternative ed, is that what's the plan the day after graduation? Get your diploma, now what are you going to do the next day? And that's where our students in Alt-Ed really have some doors that are open for them, because no matter what they face in their immediate household and the immediate experiences they have, they know that after they graduate, there's something they can do about it and make decisions to go forward in a positive way. So the Certificate of Excellence, I I better pull out my glasses for some of these names. So it's the San Bernardino County Superintendent of Schools Certificate of Excellence presented to the individual, Hillside High School, Upland Unified School District, in recognition of your years of dedicated service to transform lives through education. We salute your advocacy on behalf of students and families in San Bernardino County. Best wishes on your retirement. You're hereby presented with this certificate, 3rd day of June, 2021. Congratulations. Every year or two, we always do challenge coins, and we present them to individuals on special occasions like these. It has our logo, and it has the year of it, and what's transcribed in this is what all of you represent, transforming lives through education. Thank you, congratulations. Our first certificate, presented to Keith Broadway. Our second certificate of excellence, presented to Beth Boswell. Our next certificate of excellence, presented to Mitch Gold. And then our fourth certificate of excellence, presented to David Waldowski. Again, congratulations to these four individuals, and thank you for letting me be a part of it. Congratulations.
Nothing is so like this brand new tattoo. It's a real deal. Message real. Take it aside. Something proclaim that there's a wrong as they blame, but nothing drowns ever people. Shines in my blues away.
Mr. Wadowski as his back dancer. That's a little bonus if you go and book after June 11th. Mr. Wadowski will be part of that. We'll be part of that program. All right, we're going to kind of get started here. If you want to get a drink or a last minute eat, please get it. We also would like to recognize two different board members, Mr. Bennett and Mr. Garnett, I believe. Thank you both for showing. They're talking, it's okay. Raise your hands, there you go. Thank you, sir, very much for being here. This is an important day because, Hillside, back in 1986, the city of Upland decided that they would like to become unified. And because of that vote, and the turnout of that vote, Upland became a unified school district, and thus Hillside High School was created. We're going to recognize 4 people today because last year both Mr. Gold and Mr. Broadway retired, but it was kind of a, obviously, pandemic year, March 13th, everything shut down, and we had a retirement party for them, but it was only with staff, and we were all about 15 feet apart. And, some people wore 10 different masks and face covers and everything else, and we weren't able to really appreciate, and thus they had the free year off this year, and then they came back, and they're back here again to retire again. So if I can have both Mr. Gold and Mr. Broadway come on back up. I do have to say that the county plaques look pretty good, but these are a little more personal touch. This is Mr. Broadway, and I'm going to talk about Mr. Broadway for a second. Now, Mitch was one of those people who dressed up different attires every day. But I had the pleasure of knowing Mr. Broadway 12, 15 years ago, a few years before he started at Hillside, because we both worked. Adult Ed at that time was called Adult Ed, that incorporated credit recovery and everything else. And Mr. Broadway was the proctor at night. It was at Hillside, and we became very good friends. And the proctor job opened up, he applied, and thus it was history. And he came over to Hillside. But what made, obviously, Mr. Broadway, he's just as a human being, he's one of the most terrific people I've ever met in my life. Amen. I remain friends with him, and we all text each other and say what's going on with the kids and everything else. But thank you very much, Keith. Sorry we couldn't do this last year, so we brought you back. You want to do it again next year? We have And then there's Mr. Gold. Yeah. Mr. Gold is the gold standard because he was there every Sunday, probably at 4:30 a.m. I think he fed the chickens to Roger. And Roger wasn't there yet. Just kidding, but Mitch was there quite a bit. And Mitch took my old job 15 whatever years ago, and he took the PE job and then moved into history. And Mitch, one of his big stories is that the kid was sliding home and crashed into Mitch, and his body fell apart, and Mitch was in a cast for quite a few months.
Still in the score.
Yeah. By the way, he's going to be suing the city of Upland. Just kidding. He retired. He's off the books.
I'd like to thank them for allowing me to sue them so that I can.
Absolutely, that's right. So again, this is Mitch Gold, obviously heart and soul of Hillside, and we wanted to recognize him again. Thanks a lot, everyone. So Hillside, obviously, the voters in 1986 unified, and it was Hillside that was a warehouse. I had, in fact, subbed there, one of my first sub jobs, and I go in there and they got about 3 foot, dividers, and I'm walking around, this is a school, really? And I never got to sub when Hillside opened up in 1988 at its present location, but the 2 people that obviously are retiring today, and I'll hold, we're going to honor David first and then Beth, but Hillside is a really special place, not only to them, but also to me. It's one of those places I always tell everybody, you either love working there or you shouldn't work there, because it's not a place to go and just, I'm going to write out the last 5 years of my life. In fact, most of the people who have worked there for a decade or decades. I'm on year, I think, 25 or 26 next year. All right. And what makes it special, it is, and I think was really kind of brought all around here about 5 years ago, is our current principal, Mr. Adams. Yes, now, before that, in the 25 odd years that I've been at Hillside, I had 12 different principals. So it was about an average of about a year and a half, 2 years. Right. Mr. Adams will be on year 6 next year.
Yeah, seven.
6, so it'll be 7. Jerry stayed as long as I am because we're the same age, and he said, hey, I'm staying with you. So, but I remember now we're going to move on to Mr. Wadowski. Mr. Wadowski, who, David, raise your hand. I'm not sure anybody knows you. You know, if you had, if you really want to see what Dave was like, you go on YouTube, look at the 1977 state champions, high school. Dave still claimed to fame. Dave actually still has the same uniform. It's a really tight one. And he wears them around campus early in the morning because Dave commutes to campus. And he always comes into state, South Dakota State, high school, whatever. And he has tight, you know, the old Bruce Jenner tight ones.
Hey, 29 points.
29 points, yes. And they won, right? They did win. Oh, they did.
Number 24.
But David was, I remember the day that Dave was coming in for the interview because he had just ridden his fake Harley into campus, and he came in, he, like everybody else that comes into Hillside has never been there before, they go, where's the office? I said, who are you? He goes, I'm here for an interview, yada, yada. So he had gone in, and obviously they made a great decision. Absolutely. Mary Ellen Dawson Bell. And Dave was hired. But here's the crazy thing, and as I told Nancy, his wife, I had a Christmas party about 2 years or a year and a half, second year that Dave was there. And Dave, for the first year and a half, didn't say anything. Dave wouldn't come out of his classroom. And he shows up at the Christmas party. And if you know anything about our Christmas parties, they're usually they're fun. And I got talking to Nancy, and she goes, "This is the real Dave." And I go, "Who the hell is he?" You wouldn't even know that his name was Dave Wadowski. Really, he goes, "I'm not tenured yet." So once after that party, Dave became Dave Wadowski. That Nancy says that's what he's always like. I've been fortunate enough to have befriended, or Dave befriended me, and again, what makes us unique at Hillside, and not only the student body we work with, but really what makes Hillside special is the people we all work with. And I can truly say that everybody on our staff I love. You know extended family, you know their stories, they know the goods about me, the bads about me, craziness about Dave. Anyways, but all those things, and that's so different than a comprehensive high school or the junior high that I've worked at, that you actually, you know, every night there's a group chat of 19 and somebody's putting off something, and then you'll finally say, hey, can somebody just stop chatting? I'm trying to go to bed. Because all these people are chiming back in. So, we're going to miss David, obviously, beyond the words of not only because a great teacher, but a great friend, but just his presence on campus. So there's a lot more stories about Dave, but I'm gonna pull out what we got for him as our gift as a staff. Hang on.
You're not taking me off the group chat, are you?
It's already done.
I want to stay on the group chat. All right.
There is a lot of significance here. Yeah. Thank you. Dave, those of you who know him, Dave, he likes to write, and he's a great writer. In fact, Dave is in the middle. Nancy, he's going to start writing a book. I'm going to help him start it. I'll show you in just a second. But David, he always writes the LA Times. He both political and sports mainly. And now he lives down in Laguna Woods, and he's now got involved in the stories. Retirement Center, David? All right, so that's what the tooth is about. Now we got the Cokes underneath. The Cokes represent, there is illegal gambling going on at Hillside. In all transparency here in 2021. But it's all through sodas. It's not through cash or Bitcoin or anything like that. So for the last few years, Jerry and David, they bet games and they got the point spreads, and I've become kind of the middle guy. I kind of side with Jerry, and I give David a hard time.
They double team me.
You know, and Dave will say, I have my voices when he wins, and when he loses, he goes, I don't know what the heck happened. That wasn't the correct score. So part of this is a book table. Nancy, this is going to go in the middle of your most special book.
Oh, yeah.
So real quick, up here is all the bets that David has either won or lost. But the official count, now that Dave's retiring here in 6.5 days. Jerry's in the lead after about 5 years. And he owes Jerry 3 Cokes. So there's going to be some sort of final bet. But part of Dave's writing is when we became very good friends, is Dave started, I got to be part of the Tooth Report. Wherever he got the name Tooth, I don't know. Sharkfish. Sorry, that I should know. He probably told me that, but depending on what he told me, I don't know. So, the good thing about school email is that I never got rid of one school email. I think it started back in 1991. I actually have 30,000 emails that go back 19, almost 20 years. And so I thought, what am I going to get Dave? What am I going to do for Dave? And I thought, you know what, I'm going to go back as early as I can, and I'm going to print out every one of Dave's tooth reports.
What?
My first tooth report started June 28th, 2013 is when you allowed me into your cult. One side goes by, so Nancy, I hope you guys live well in your 90s. You probably can read one a day, and that's going to keep you.
We already have to read one a day.
Dave, you can probably write books or losing these
I'll have
stories.
Nancy read it to me at night.
Oh yeah, Nancy's going to be gone.
Nancy's really young.
Oh yeah, that was strictly my paper. I went to state. Thank you, Mr. Adams. I did that at home. Also, I had to add my special clip. This is Dave and Nancy at Woodstock back in 1969. And so I'm going to leave that in there too. So, Dave, you guys can kind of keep adding to this as your life continues. That's a really nice clip. Beyond retirement.
Way to go.
All these things that I thought I wanted to say, but I'm running out of things. But I know Dave has a dog and pony show that he's going to provide for you. That he has gifts to give out because, as he said to me yesterday, I'm going to bequeath all my things to people here on campus. The final thought that I thought was really important, because I had gone in and actually had about 30 seconds of serious contact with him, was the fact that he said, I've spent 25% of my life in this room over the past 15, 20 years. And I thought, God, if Dave spent 25%, I probably spent 75% at Hillside. So the weird thing about a job, and we're very blessed to be where we're at, is that you spend more time at, in our case, Hillside, than you do with your own family. So it's always important to really appreciate the people you work with. David, come on up. There is one noticeable change physically about David. When he started 15, 20 years ago, he had a lot of hair. Now, when I saw Mitch come up here and stood next to David, I wasn't sure if I was looking at Mitch or David. So.
Sharing this day with Beth is kind of screwed up because I feel like a story about Wilt Chamberlain's teammate. Wilt Chamberlain's teammate said, I remember the game where Wilt and I scored 106 points together. I scored 6 and Wilt scored 100. Beth has scored 100 points here and I scored 6. Give her a hand. When Beth is honored here in a few minutes, I want to say some serious things, so I'm going to leave that. No, seriously, I want to say some serious things. Yeah, but when your turn comes, I want to say my serious things too, because you have done some wonderful things. Most of you know that my room was decorated beautifully. My wife is a decorator, I give her that. But I decorate my own room.
Get him a microphone.
Microphone.
Yeah, how do you speak without the microphone?
Get him a microphone.
No, I don't want to. Anyway, I'll talk loud. On my room was all kinds of precious, beautiful things. Many of you came in and saw those beautiful things. A couple weeks ago, I started taking them down. I started feeling a little bit sad. The first day of school, I used to give my kids a tour of the room. I took them all the way around the room and I showed them every precious thing on that wall. And I explained what it means and all that. That's what I did. And one year a kid raised his hand and he said, "Is this all we're going to do today?" I said, "Shut up, dude. It's the first day of school, you're getting on my last nerve." I learned a lesson from that. The next year I did half the room the first day and half the room the second day. Now, I was taking my beautiful things down, and my voices told me, Jerry knows I have voices, that's why I got all the voice off. My voices said, "You should take these beautiful things and you should bequeath them." Bequeath. It's a big word. Well, those of you from Upland Junior, that means give away. Do we have any Upland Junior leftovers here? Oh, man, yes. Well, that means to give away.
And Dean! Roger, he was there too.
My voice said, "You should bequeath these beautiful things to your colleagues." So let's see here. First, Beth. No, not starting with Beth, but she's been the rock. She has been the rock at Hillside High School for many years. Now we have two new office workers, Yolanda and Aisha. And I'm going to bequeath to you these beautiful magnet rocks.
If anybody's ever seen the movie Greenwood, he stole it. He stole it.
Very nice paperweight right on your desk. Think of me every day. Let's move on quickly. Maria, our custodian. Yes, let's hear from Maria. Maria works very hard for 35 years. She's the best custodian we ever had. I think she should go to Hawaii. This thing working here? I give to Maria my beautiful map of Hawaii.
Hey, she asked, "Where's the tickets?"
Later, we'll get tickets. That sucker's been on the wall for a long time there, Maria. Very nice, very nice. Okay. Steve, our long-term sub, right over here. All right, hold on, Steve, hold on. Steve is a great guy, really. He's been a long-term sub. Let's hear for Steve. Come on. He's a great guy. And the best thing about Steve, he brings great food to the potlucks. I'm talking about barbecue ribs. I'm talking about sausage.
Now you're talking.
Roger says to me, "Dave, bring the Coke, would you?" Okay. Anyway, Steve might be able to step into my position.
Nice.
All right, Steve.
Two small problems, Steve. I've been working in that room. I've been doing the work of 3 men in that room. Steve, I've been doing the work of 3 men in that room for 15 years. Okay, getting paid one salary, Steve. Keep that in mind. Another small problem. I went to South Dakota State University. Steve, you went to UCLA.
So he actually took the SAT.
I'll do the joke. Mr. Gold's got a lot of jokes. Most of them are not appropriate for him. But for Steve, I'm kidding, Steve. I wish you the very best. God bless you. For Steve, I give him a beautiful quote from the UCLA coach, John Wood. It's been on my wall for many years, Steve. Wow. Be quick, but don't hurry. Thank you. Thank you. Robert, our new room 6 hammer right here. You'll notice it's a small hammer. Robert, you're going to have to be tough out there. You got to be tough out there, but it's a small hammer. You got to be kind too. You got to be kind too. Tough and kind. I say firm, fair, and friendly. That's what I say. Firm, fair. Good job, Robert. And Robert's already doing it. He's a great man. I mean, sir. Mr. Broadway. Mr. Broadway. Our previous proctor. You will never find a better man than Mr. Broadway, and I mean that. One of the best men I've ever met. This goes close second. Just kidding, just kidding. It's a joke, Mitch, I'm sorry. I'm serious. He don't get the mic. He don't get the mic. Serious, Mr. Broadway's best man ever. He's a great Laker fan. And Mr. Broadway is very.
Wow.
He deserves it, I'll tell you. He do, and I'm not going to tell that nasty joke either.
Are you a matron now?
Well, let's take it easy. Let's take it easy.
Hey, Dad, that would have been a great gift for me, Dad.
We had some great times, I'll tell you. We did. We had some great times. He loves the music of Whitney Houston. Hold on. Help is on the way. Somebody say amen. Now, where are we at? Mitch Gold. Oh, yes, I didn't forget about you, my friend. Mitch was my neighbor. And so if kids misbehaved, Mitch sent them to me. And if they misbehaved in my class, I sent them to Mitch and said, no, make them go to Gold class. You're going to Gold class. No. Anyway, that's a joke, that's a joke. On a serious note, Mitch was a great teacher, and we had a great time, a great neighbor, seriously. Mitch had a great talent. He could go in that boy's bathroom. He goes in that boy's bathroom. He comes out with a vape. Robert, you might want to talk to him. Mitch go into that bathroom. He'd come out. He got the guy comes out walking like this, and Mitch got the vape like this. So Mitch, I give him this very beautiful vape. To take a vape off a kid in the bathroom, that's not easy.
All right, Mitch.
We don't want to know what you did, but you did it. Oh, I have some cool stuff for Andy Steger down here. Okay, very good. Beth Boswell. Let's hear from Beth Boswell right here. Well, I did. Look at that. One of my most prized possessions, a beautiful shell. Beautiful shell from the ocean. They say if you take this shell and put it up in your ear, you can hear the ocean. I hear the ocean. And Beth, now you're going to be spending a lot more time at home with your husband. And this shell will help you become a good listener. You're going to listen very carefully to what your husband says, and you're going to do what he says. Very nice, Beth. Now there's another woman in this room who needs some help with listening too. She needs a shell. She needs a shell, and she needs to learn to listen to her husband.
I hope you're not talking about Nancy.
Me too.
Big shell. Woo! Big shell. Go get it, Nancy. She's been doing a lot of talking. Now she has to just listen.
How good an arm does she have? You better get ready to go.
She does it right over. She's the lucky girl.
As long as there are people around, you're talking better. People are coming.
She gets this right here 24/7. Every day. I mean empathy. What do we got here? Oh, Jason, our math teacher. Our math teacher and our PE teacher. And a fellow ski. Dushinsky, Waldowski. We stick together. That's right. Polish brothers. This is no joke right here. This is a UCLA. Sorry, Steve. This is a UCLA football right here, signed by Richard Breho.
I'll take
A third-string quarterback. That's right, a third-string quarterback. Richard Breho is my but Jason, for you, I give you a very beautiful, very.
Well, you got autograph it.
Yeah, very nice. Let's see. Kathy Stevenson, yes. Kathy was here when I came, and she's here when I left. I used to be a pastor, you know. Some of you didn't know that. The guy, when you're your pastor, you come in, the guy says, I'm going to carry your bags in, and I'm going to carry them out. Kathy was here when I came, and she's here when I left. Kathy just keeps sailing along. She keeps sailing along. I give her this very beautiful sailboat right here. I give you this very beautiful quote I've had on my wall for many, many, many years. It says, I can't change the direction of the wind, but I can adjust my sails, girl. There it is, very nice. Ashley, one of our brand new teachers. So let's hear it for Ashley. Ashley, where are you? Would you stand up? Just stand up. Look at how young she is. Look at how young Ashley is. She's like 18 years old. She's only 18 years old. Just kidding, Ashley. I have grandchildren older than you. Now, you can sit down. Ashley, I mean, very good. Now, it's going to be a long time before you retire. A long time. As my students say, a long ass time. My students have taught me many vocabulary words. Some I can share, some I can't. One of my favorites one is ghosted. They ghosted me. Anyway, I'm going to that. Let's move on. So Ashley, here we have it. So you've got a long time. Don't count the days, actually. Make the days count. You see what I'm saying right there? That's good. That's good. Actually, I also have this very beautiful, I'm not sure where I got this, but I'm sure. But I've had it a long time, and I know it's very valuable. What was hung up, Andrew? I don't know where I got that, but somebody told me it was very valuable. Don't tell it, actually. I don't want you on eBay. Megan. Oh, Megan. Well, Megan is a very gifted educator because she taught me how to use Google Classroom. I've never been on Google Classroom, but I had to go on with this crazy COVID thing. So Megan taught. She can teach me how to do Google Classroom. She's going to be great. Megan is now teaching senior English. I did teach senior English for 2 years. In senior English, you teach Beowulf, right? You did teach Beowulf, right? I debated on this one. I debated on whether I should let this one go. But I decided I'd go ahead and do it. I give you my Beowulf.
He's too quick. You gotta embrace it.
The final performance of his career is Beowulf.
I told the kids that Beowulf is like a Viking superhero. I'm almost done. Hold on. Don't get jumping. Roger Connor. Let's hear it. On a serious note, Roger has done wonderful things. Very creative fellow, very creative. Huh? Come on, let's hear it for Roger. I mean, the farm, the chickens, the tiny house, and the roosters confronting me every day when I come in. Scare the hell out of me. Big surprise. I give Roger two animals. First, a very beautiful monkey. Rally monkey. You'll see there's a pin stucking, and that used to be a prop for the crucible when Mrs. Proctor was accused of being a voodoo witch. So you can keep the pin in if you want. Also, I give Roger my very beautiful bird right here. And that's not all. Something the best of all. I give him a very beautiful quote that I've had for many years. It is the 4-H motto. 4-H for you city folks. It is a club for farm kids. Heart, health, doesn't matter. Hand, heart, health, hand, home.
Yeah, we can see you were at.
Anyway, and it is actually a very beautiful motto, which I've had on my wall for many years, and I give this now to Roger, and I would like to see it on your wall, please. We learn by doing. Yes? Think about that. Yes. We learn by doing. You want to write that down? We learn.
Is there going to be a test on this?
Yes. Yes. And it will not be multiple choice. I'm almost done. Hold on. Angie, our counselor, yes. Supposedly Angie lifts weights. Supposedly, I'm not sure about that. To Angie, I give my 15-pound dumbbell right here, right there. Also, I give her two things. She gets my very beautiful True Grit book, which she had before and she had to turn in, so I give it back to her. Okay, very good. Angie. And Rosie. Let's hear it for Rosie quickly. I have my room 6 corkscrew for Rosie. Why do I have a corkscrew? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about that. If you taught for 15 years, you'd have a corkscrew too. See what I'm saying? Now, Rosie is probably the smartest person on our campus. She went to Claremont Colleges.
Whoa.
And I hear that she might, I'm not sure about this, but I hear she might be wanting to become a principal, administration. You're going to have to drink a lot of wine if you're doing that. Hold on. And I know Rosie knows this because she's a master. She's a great teacher. She's a master. I know she knows this. But for any principal, I think every principal should have this on their wall. And this is one of my top 5 quotes right here. Correction does much, but encouragement does more. Think about that, people. Think about that. Wow. Brad Smith. Brad Smith went shark fishing with me with his 2 sons. We caught a shark. Woo. Excuse me. We caught a shark. I said, should we let him go? Brad says, hell no, we're going to butcher him. Brad was a little bit of a hillbilly growing up, so he butchers everything. But he brings in some really good meat. So to Brad, I give him this very beautiful shark jaw right here, Brad. And hang that right here. Hold on one second, Brad, hold on. And Brad also likes beer. When I say likes beer, it's more like mother's milk.
All right, Brad.
I give him this very beautiful Avery Brewery, Boulder Avery Brewery. Put these 2 up together in the wall, Brad. You give me every day. There you go. Brad Smith, everybody, right there.
All right.
This beer prop was on your wall?
Yes. And now it'll be on your wall. Very good. Jamise, let's hear for Jamise quickly. This is probably the most legitimate thing in the whole place. I'm not kidding. Jameis is a kind of a, what would you say, classy, foxy person. I think I can say that. This is a classy, foxy picture, and I'm not kidding. It's actually a picture from a very famous South Dakota Native American artist named Oscar Howe. And it's called Children at Play. It's actually very beautiful. See that right there? It's very beautiful. I thought, as soon as I picked it up, my voice just said, Jameis. We're almost there. We got 3 to go. Eileen. Eileen Sarinana. For many years, Eileen and I have been the English department. I'm not sure who the chair is. I give her my most valuable quote, and I think you know which one it is, don't you? You want to say it?
I do. Is it firm, friendly, fair, fair, firmly, friend?
Lord Jameis. Or Jameis.
Eileen.
Firm, fair, and friendly. My first principal in 1982, that's what he said. My first principal in 1982 said, I want you to be firm, fair, and friendly. Hold on, we got one more thing. Very beautiful little Christmas ornament right here. It's very, very gorgeous. But I don't want you to wait till Christmas. You put it up on your wall right now, right next to that thing right there. All right, we're down to the last 2. We're down to the last 2. Dean Carter, let's hear for Dean Carter. I'm almost done. Dean says I talk too much. Yeah, thank you. First one ever to go on that. Dean does tease me sometimes. And sometimes he says I talk too much, but mostly Dean is a very kind, very, very kind fellow. He's got a very kind, we all know that. He's got a very kind heart. So I give him this very beautiful quote right here. What wisdom can you find that is greater than kindness? Huh? What wisdom can you find? I also give Dean one more thing. My famous bobblehead of Lou Williams, one of my famous players. It's too bad Lou got caught in a strip club during COVID. And our last contestant, Mr. Jerry Adams. Give Jerry 1 free Coke, the only one he'll ever get. Only 3 Coke I'll ever give that man.
Thank you, sir.
I have more. Wait. I have 3 things for Jerry. Number 2 is a picture of me playing basketball in college. I had hair. That's me, the white guy.
You sure?
Well, you had a 12-inch vertical.
Look at that hair, man. In the background, Jerry, you know who's in the background,
Jerry
right?
Glanz.
One of Jerry's former teammates is in the background, Barry Glanzer, and we're not going to go into all that. One last thing. This is not bogus, Jerry. I'm serious. This is a very cool plaque of St. Francis of Assisi, and it says, "Lord, make me an instrument of your peace." That's what Jerry is. He's a loving, kind. Now I'll talk. I'm going to shut up here in a minute. One thing I want to say to teachers, especially new teachers, and I got to remind myself this too when I'm in Hillside. Every student that comes through that door, something really rough has happened to that student. These are not just regular people coming in your door. We're serving the 7 or 8% of Upland High School. Something pretty serious has happened to every student, so we got to treat them with care and love and bring them up. You know what I'm saying? Keep that in mind, because sometimes we forget that, blah, blah, blah. I'm very proud of the 15 years that I spent at Hillside, not just me, but we. When our school was up and running properly, we did great things for students. We really did. We all know that. We served students. We helped students. We lifted them. I'm very proud of those 15 years. When I came to Hillside in 2006, it was a loving, caring atmosphere, mostly because of Beth right here, and other people too, being other people. The school was based on a caring, loving atmosphere. When I got there, it was there, and it's still there today, 15 years later. It's still a loving, caring atmosphere, and that's a great thing. And Jerry has treated us like family, and you guys are family. I'm going to miss you guys. I love you guys.
David couldn't have said any better than what he just did in summing up what it's like to work at Hillside and really what makes it so different and special. And having been in education for 30 years, I can tell you that. So as we make that transition into why Hillside is the way it is, when I start talking about Beth, I think the first time I met Beth, my first job was at Upland Junior High, and I had walked in, and there's just certain people in your life, and there's several people here that are in this room that I kind of just gravitated towards. And one of those people, my very first year teaching, were reminded that when I went in for the interview at Upland Junior High, the first thing I got interviewed on was, "Can you do the yearbook?" And I said, "Yes." He goes, "You're hired." And that was my interview. Little did they know that I was a terrible teacher. Unfortunately, I made it past 2 years. David, you can recognize this. All I had to do was finish the darn yearbook, and I did. But Beth was one of those people who, she's just there's not too many people I can say in my life, and this includes my mom and my dad, people that are just caring, loving human beings that go above and beyond, and you just kind of connect with. Well, she cut my hair. First off, I didn't have any money as a first-year teacher, and she was cutting my hair for free. All I had to do was be a nice person, so that was easy. But our friendship started there, and she had migrated over to Hillside High School. Brain fart. And I started working at Hillside for Adult Ed at night, and that's where I said, this is where I want to be, and it took me another 3 years to get over there. But Beth has been there longer than any other human being that has worked there. She's been there 29 years. 29 years. If I can make it to 29, 10 more, hopefully. I'll be there, but Beth has been obviously, if you look at Hillside, there was a dictionary, there would be a picture of her. Hillside is Beth, Beth is Hillside. There's so many conversations that I've had through the years. She's been there not only through my marriage, 4 kids, kids now 24, 22, 20, and 18. I know her kids work, grandkids. It's pretty incredible that I was able to share not only with Beth, but a lot of people that I've worked with through the years and didn't bounce around and made my life better. So she's one of those people that made my life better by knowing her. So what we got Beth, this kind of streams out of what first off, Beth, as you know, is number one animal human being. When she's leaving Hillside on June 30th, she's starting her own podcast called I Love Pets. No, she did. I mean, she has a pet. She has a pet lizard. She has a pet possum. I mean, she has every pet you can humanly possible that don't have pets. She makes it a pet, domesticates it. Now she's got about 5,000 chickens running around the campus. You drive in, and Aisha has the same Ford white truck like Beth, and she drives in, and she's running over 6 of them as she drives in, and she's dead. So, but no, the chickens, she picks up the chickens not only fall asleep in her arms, but they shit on her because they're so happy. So I'm not kidding. She's like that. She's a chicken whisperer. So Roger started obviously the farm several years ago with the great support of some of the people here. We appreciate that. I know my brother does. His wife thanks you because he's out of the house. But this is one of two signs. This one is for Beth at home. You know, Boswell's Hen House, established 2021. And Roger also will be creating a part of the chicken farm is going to be named after Beth. So. As most of you know, Beth has been retiring for the last 10 years. And that's not a joke. In fact, I called Daryl Snyder, our last time we had a retirement party was here. It was for Daryl Snyder, and I called him up in Utah. I said, Beth's retiring. He goes, oh, really? But he called Beth like 2 days ago and said, Beth, are you really retiring? And Beth had turned in the paperwork. And Jerry, obviously, we've been kind of going backdoor, nice guy, bad guy cop to try to get her to stay. Dawn, we see Dawn out in the window with a gun saying, things like that. So she obviously is finally retired. But the good news is, next year I have a volunteer that's going to come and help me next year. I get to kind of kick back a little bit. I'm going to have Miss Boswell come, and she's going to organize Angie and I in the back up in independent studies. So. But I know there's some other people that would like to come up and say a couple of things. You know, there were so many things that have gone through my mind that I thought I would share with you, and a lot of those things I've said with you over the last 30 years and how much I love you and appreciate you and things like that. But I know there's some people here that would love to chime in. David, are you refueled?
No, let somebody else go.
David's voices have been they're defunct.
Okay.
Jerry, Mr. Adams would like to come up. And this is going to bring down the shower on Beth here.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, those of you who don't know, this is Jerry Adams.
All right, Jerry.
Jerry and I went to college together at the University of Oregon. And the way I always did Jerry had this little Miata convertible. So those of you who watch Tom and Jerry, Jerry's torso was about 4 times the size of his car. That was Jerry Adams.
All right, Jerry.
And I was lucky enough, fast forward 20 years of my life, he not only became my boss, but a very good, close friend for the rest of my life, someone I love very much. So Jerry, tell us about that.
And don't call me Edie.
Well, this is hard. Following Dean and following Dave is not easy, but we got 4 people here that we recognize today, and these 4 people have made my job extremely easy. This is my 13th year in the Upper Unified School District. For the board members, I've been in 5 schools in 12 years. So now that I look back, I think I'm doing okay. And so, but I've landed in my sweet spot, and it's here at Hillside. And I'm fortunate to have 2 women here who really took care of me. My good principal, I have Sharon back there, but then I have Beth right here. Sharon started me off, and Beth is kind of closing the door on me. As Dean said, we've talked several times, and we've tried to get her to stay, but this time she's really doing it. So I just want to tell you that we love you. Thank you for all your years of service. And pardon me to say, love your face.
Love your face.
Yeah, I'm gonna say something. What I'm gonna say is, had I not called you out of the blue for something else, I would have never came. And so then Beth says, hey Don, I'm having a retirement in like 15 minutes. So I had to take a shower, get dressed. Not my normal dress, you all know me, you probably never seen me without a tie, those of you who know me, but
This is Don English.
I am Don English, and I do work with San Bernardino County Superintendent of Schools, and I have the pleasure of being a principal and getting kids from Hillside High School who needed a little reformation. And so the huge part of it was that I don't think that we were the place that Upton wanted to send kids, but I will come back. Jerry, I'm not coming to the meeting. You got to send me 2, 3, 4 kids. There. Start with Jerry, end with that. But no, I will say Beth is one of the really true treasures that we have in education. And those of you who work with her, have the privilege to work with her, know that. Don, her husband, is so lovely because he just goes with the flow. It appears. I don't know if that's true or not. And then we have our other retirees who are phenomenal. I had the pleasure to work with. And so, and I will say, man, are you a professional? Because I mean, you put it down. But I had to go. My son had a game at JW North in Riverside at 5 o'clock. And there was no way I was going to leave without seeing something like that. So, take care, everyone. Have a fantastic day.
This is my youngest daughter.
Yeah.
Started working there together, so I actually worked with the Oxnest in organization for 10 years. It's a family, and I'm happy for you and know how nice of a person my mom is and loving is. Doug and I were privileged to have foster kids, and then they ended up to live with my mom, and now he's back, and now he's going to Hillside, so it's kind of just like a full circle. Best buddies, and I just feel lucky that we got to be there for so many years, and that I got to be with all you guys and Kathy, and so I'm proud of you.
Well, I know Beth would like to say something. I'll stand up here with you. Tell us what it was like to work at Hillside for as many years as you did.
Oh my gosh.
It's like a radio show here. Dave's starting a podcast after this. Yes.
As you all know, I've been there how many years? 8 years. And I started out at Sierra Vista, and then I went to Upland Junior, and then I've been at Hillside, and that's been my home. I like that one.
Because you don't like to talk in public, that's why I'm
Yeah, I definitely. It has been just the most wonderful journey of my life. And all of you have made it so fabulous. And I couldn't have done my job without each and every one of you. You were such awesome teachers. And you stuck in attendance.
Yeah, I don't suck at attendance.
No, you're probably more than you're on too. But I mean, I started out at doing attendance, and then I was fortunate enough to take over Lori's job as secretary. And it's just, I think the best part for me is seeing all the kids come in every single day. And I'm a lucky one to say good morning, how are you? And some of them, they don't want to talk, we just come in and blow you off. But it's okay, because they are going through whatever they're going through. But I love to see every single student and maybe making their day. So, and I'm the hugger, and I'm the big bush, as you can tell. But I would always tell them, I couldn't say I love you, I would say I love your face. And yes, I love all the kids. And yes, I have a wonderful family, my daughters, my son-in-laws, my grandkids. I did kitchen and grandkids. My house, my son David, who's now fortunate to live at Highway. And it's at Hillside, and I'm very excited for him to be a graduate of Hillside. And Mr. Adams has really given him the go ahead, and so I'm hoping that all of you will get him through as well. I can never thank you enough, each and every one, because each and every one of you are so great.
That city vote in 1986 obviously created Hillside High School. And we fast forward to 2021, and we have terrific people leaving, but we have terrific people coming in. And part of the reason I wanted people to be here was, especially the younger people and people that just hired, is that's what makes us different and special and sets us apart from most schools that you may have worked at or never worked at. But you were fortunate to work at the best school. The best kept secret and the best school, not only not unified, but probably throughout Southern California. So thank you all for being here. It's not over yet. I know you're going to say something, Jerry. Because Brad's going to, we still got a little more foods. We'll kind of round it out after that, but please feel free to stick around for another 15, 20 minutes. But thank you all for being here. Beth will set up here.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I do want to say thank you to Mr. Jerry, as Harley says. I have worked for 14 principals. Dean has worked for 12, but I've worked for 14. And in all those years, there's never been, like Dean has said, a more kinder. What do I always tell you, Jerry? You're the best human being. And no, I don't want to eat lunch.
Bring me that movie, dude.
Yeah, bring me that. But I have been so fortunate to work for you, with you, and you guys, you know how lucky you are to work with this man. And when he leaves Hillside, that's going to be a very big loss. And I want to thank you.
Well, then we're all going to leave.
Yeah. So thank you for everything. Thank you for buying my breakfast, my lunch every day. I weighed 40 pounds for the past 6 years. And you're just a wonderful human being. So thank you guys.
Hey, Dean, I don't ask David, I got another seashell for her other ear so she can listen to me in stereo.
So again, thank you all, obviously, for making this what it is. A very special day for Hillside and for the people that are retiring. Brad has agreed to stick around. Brad has dugout seats to go to the Angel game here in about 15 minutes. All right, he's up to the complete nosebleeds, $9. Sorry, I was trying to.
My first ever job was my first administration job was